Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for some SMB3 Randomizer racing. We have magooisadorable versus prieR57. I am Growlwolf on commentary tonight. We are going to be running a little bit of a different one. It's not exactly brackets, but it's going to be extremely close to it. Basically, we're going to be doing two. Without the end card. So this should be very interesting for sure. Basically, we're going to be starting off with the end card game as available, as well as some hammers. So definitely looking forward to that. Hammers are going to break rocks and locks. So those are definitely going to be extremely valuable as far as the items go. So we're starting off in World 3, both of our runners having just a little bit of a problem with the Sky Raceway. There are a bunch of enemies that like to swoop down from the top, as we've seen so far on both Magoo and prieR's side. So prieR, the first one able to get out here, that's definitely going to be a very fortuitous circumstance for him. Meanwhile, Magoo is just going to have to be careful, watching out for the dive bombers from above. Looks like he's learned his lesson and is going to be moving on to the game of pipes here in just a moment. So it looks like that first one's going to take us over to a fortress on the bottom right-hand side. Unfortunately, a Boomerang Brother twin pair is going to be the death of prieR. So that is unfortunate for sure, and there are no items to help. So even though you kind of have to wait and think about it, like, what do I want to do here? prieR decides to go ahead and go through and finish off the fight. Unfortunately, Magoo having another issue, the same as prieR, and we'll have to consider his options here. Unfortunately, we do have an invalid seed, as our runners have discovered 3F1. Normally, we would have that. I'm sorry, 3F2. I looked at that for a second, like, that's not right. 3F2 is up for prieR, and it looks like magooisadorable's decided to go ahead and play panel 7. So we already have a little bit of a divergence, and magooisadorable is actually going to go ahead and take a game over here. Has opted to go ahead and restart World 3. I find that a little interesting, but better now than later when you only have a level or two to go, or even on Wendy's Castle. Obviously, taking a game over there would be extremely dangerous, and it really just sucks a lot of wind out of your sails, honestly. It's a very, very terrible place to be. So magooisadorable has learned his lesson and is now on his way back through, and will be fighting that Boomerang Brother here in just one moment. Meanwhile, prieR is found the Big Boss Bass, and unfortunately, a Mothering Goomba is going to be just a little bit too much for our incredibly famous runner. But that's all right. So as the Green Mario does make its way through its fight one more time, we've got magooisadorable in the exact same place. So just kind of biding the time, and that is all it's going to take. And a one-up gladly taken for magooisadorable, and you will get that second prize, which is a mushroom. So very nicely done there. prieR is still trying to get out of the way of Big Boss Bass, and is able to do so very nicely thus far. magooisadorable taking a little bit of a peace speed strat here. We'll see if he goes for the coin heaven. Will not, by the looks of it, decided not to fulfill the rest of that, and that is quite all right. Keeping himself safe. These guys are extremely close, just a fortress separating the two. And magooisadorable with a unbridled fury that we had not seen yet in the first one. So I had to shake off a little bit, and now it's time for him to get started here. So that is going to be the end of it. That is the last pipe we were looking for. That was 3F2. That was the gatekeeper, potentially, if there is a lock here. There is. So it looks like Magoo is going to have to go back. We'll see which one he decides to take. If he'll go for that fort he can see, or if he'll go back and play the fort that he knows where it's at. All right, looks like he's made a decision. He's going to go back and play 3F2. We do know that is accurate, so he will be able to get through Windy here in just one moment. So about a level separating these two runners, and going to be interesting to see how this next one plays out. Runners, get your guesses in the chat as to what you think our runners are going to be going through next. Which world are we going to? I got to go with desert. Let's go backward before we go forward. Acid Kogan, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm honored that you would list me as one of your favorite commentators. There's a lot of really good ones there, so thank you so much for that. Magoo is Adorable is on his way through 3F2. prieR is on his way into the next one. And I would like to remind you that the winner of this race will be going on to take the one and only Craig SMB3 from across the pond, and they will be going after each other in a quarterfinals. Craig SMB3 has been nothing short of sensational so far in this tournament, and is definitely going to be watching this one with expectation. Ranked 9-11, unable to get the job done in the last race there, as he fell to Craig SMB3 2-1, which is still impressive. If you can take one from Craig, that's very impressive to do. So prieR and Magoo is Adorable will be fighting for the chance to maybe see what they can do in that run and see if they can dethrone Craig SMB3 or maybe pull off an upset and claim their rightful spot in the semifinals. We will, of course, be watching to wait and see for that one for sure. Now we got prieR onto 2-4. One of the famous levels where you can actually fly up on the left-hand side. That's the way that I always did it. And a little fanfare never hurts when you're sitting at a 0 counter on your life total. Lindy, being a chunky monkey here, finally goes down, and that will be the end of it. So now we have a little bit of a comical World 1, a couple of locks that will actually prevent our runners from moving forward. But thankfully, whichever fortress they play will, of course, break one of the locks, and then they can move on. The only difference is whether they'll play one fortress to break the lock on the left, or two fortresses to break the lock on the right, or potentially, and then the left, or I guess you could even play a fortress and then the level, which is where World 1's fortress normally is. So if that wasn't confusing enough, welcome to Randomizer. We're here. We're having fun. So that that level 5 panel is going to be the question. We'll see what our runners decide to do here. If they'll take the top or the bottom fortress. prieR doesn't hesitate and says, I'll take 6F3. We'll find the blue carpet fort up next for our runner. We've got Magoo is Adorable taking a raccoon tail. Never a bad place to be. Definitely nice to have that little bit of extra padding as you run through the end of these levels, especially when you have a boomerang brother waiting at the end for you. The escalator is proving to be just a little bit of a problem for prieR, as we've got a drunk hotfoot who's looking to take the fireball to prieR, but he says, no thanks, I'm good, I know what I'm anyway, and that's going to be the end of the fight with Magoo as well. Magoo is Adorable just looking to get enough speed. Unfortunately, lost that fire flower, but may go for an item here. Looks like we'll get a star and not going to take the sides. Not worth it, not going back down, and we'll finish off the level as Super Mario. Now, it looks like that is the answer that prieR was wanting. Unfortunate. That is unfortunate for prieR, and he has opted to actually. Oh, this is interesting. So prieR opted to go ahead and play the level 5 panel, and that ended up being 3-6. Whereas Magoo is Adorable played the bottom fortress and found 7F2, but that will in fact open up the left path, so he won't have to play 3-6. If he can get through here without any further damage, able to get through the first time, this may be a little bit of a catch-up for him here, as he'll be joining up at the World 1-5 level here in just one moment, normally where the 1-5 would be. So, yeah, I think this was a really good decision on Magoo is Adorable's part. He saw two fortresses, decided to take the bottom one. I guess the road less traveled will be the one that paves the way for Magoo is Adorable here. prieR doing his best to keep out of line of that Cheep Cheep, who is daunting, will not let up on prieR, definitely hovering over like a mad bumblebee or helicopter, whichever you prefer. So now Magoo is Adorable into 3-3, I do believe. I always get that one in 3-8 confused. Like I said, I get it confused. 3-8 is going to be the one that Magoo is Adorable is finishing up here. Meanwhile, prieR finds himself in the land of ice as he's trying to get out nice and dry. And so far, so good. Looks like our runners are going to be catching up to each other in this next level. And then prieR, of course, will be headed towards the Boomerang Brother, but shortly after, we'll be fighting Larry. Over on SpeedGaming 3 right now, we currently have Jabazoo, who is taking on Demon Battler, and that has been an outstanding race so far. Jabazoo finishing off the first one in about 34.5 minutes, really putting on an extremely good show. So if you've got two monitors, if you want to go side by side, whatever the case may be, grab a friend. They can watch one, you can watch the other, and enjoy it that way, whatever you want to do. But here we've got magooisadorable versus prieR, and then here in about 49 minutes, trying to be as exact as I can for you, we will have April Day taking on Jake over on SpeedGaming 5, so you don't want to miss that. Then at 9 p.m. tonight, we've got Homer J Smash versus Ryko Rider, and definitely we'll be looking forward to that as well. And actually, magooisadorable will be magooisadorable will actually be commentary on that one with Frantic 32. So a lot of really great runs and commentary coming up for that as well. And over on the brackets tonight, we have prieR57 versus Europsiles, who is going to be commentated by magooisadorable and Sinister Sama, and that is going to be on SpeedGaming at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. So definitely a lot of SMB3 running tonight. If you need to get your SMB3 fix on, you have come to the right place at the right time today, because there's going to be a lot of it. Now we've got the Door 3 Fort, Door 6 Fort, whatever you prefer to call it, 3F1 for some of the rest of us. And prieR is just doing his best to get through without any further damage. Has not been shy about the damage boost. Both of our runners utilizing that to their absolute advantage. And even with that game over early on for magooisadorable, just a level behind. And we still haven't seen World 7 or World 8 yet. So a lot left to go for our esteemed runners, for sure. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty quick World 4. About 13 minutes in, we're going to be looking at our World 4 coming up for this randomizer. Get your guesses in the chat. I haven't been very good about this, but get your guesses in the chat. What do you think? What world are we coming up to next? So far, we've seen World 1, we've seen World 4, and we've seen another one. I forget which one it is. I guess it was World 3. I guess we saw that one. So 3, 1, and 4 so far. We've got 2, 5, 6, and 7 to go. What do you think? I'm going to go with 2. I think let's get to the land of desert. I'm going to be right one of these times. So now we've got magooisadorable facing off against the World 6 airship. That, of course, with the tail is going to be extremely helpful. Okay, it looks like Iggy is going to be a bit of a pain, but not so much of a pain for magooisadorable as that wand grab. That is not a fun thing to do. It is hard. With the bouncing of the flying, it does get a little tricky, and unfortunately that is going to add just a little bit of time, but no big deal. He still makes the fall, no problem. And 3-2 is up. I'm sorry, 4-3. I got my sequential order incorrect. But 4-3 now up on the side of prieR. So that is going to be a star as he runs through and use as much of that star as he could possibly get. Now Magoo is coming in with a tail into 4-3 as well, so this should be very beneficial to him. Won't have to be quite as concerned about the damage boost. And of course, he'll fly over this first part. No sense in taking any needless damage. And you guys must know something I didn't, because both Cyber Vector and Acid Coven got World 6 correct. You must have heard what I said and then said, well, that's obviously not going to be right. Let's pick something else. And you were right to do so, because you were absolutely right. Well done. 4-3 for magooisadorable. An early exit out of his 7-1 on the side of prieR. And we'll be looking for a mushroom or something to get a little bit bigger. And so we'll be looking for a clip here, I'm sure. A Siege Bro, or I guess Sludge Bro, I guess that's what they call him, has given a Jugo Cloud to our runner on the right, Mr. prieR, and magooisadorable will be looking to see which one he wants to play going bottom routes here. I like it. 7-1 is going to be on the side of magooisadorable. 6-6 on the side of prieR, though. That's going to be a little bit daunting as a small Mario, and sure enough, You say it, that it happens. That is going to be a small Mario kill on the side of prieR with 6-6. And prieR says, I have had enough of that. Decides to go ahead and take the pipe. And looks like magooisadorable unwittingly hit up on the pad. That's super easy to do when you're going for a lot of those. Oh, looks like the shell was despawned off screen. So magooisadorable is going to have to go find a piranha to let him out of the stage early here. prieR is now on his way through the lava fort. So not a bad place to be. There are two fortresses there. One where a fortress normally would be, 6F1, and then one just to the right of that and down. So interesting to see what happens here. 4F2, it's going to be finished off here in moments for prieR. And it looks like Magoo has gotten that cloud as well. May go ahead and opt to use that cloud. No, looks like he's got the mushroom. That tail is not exactly a given when it comes to clipping. We'll see if the Super Mario has more forgiveness than the tail did. So we'll wait and see what he can do here. prieR finds himself in 2-1 with a cheap. So that's going to be a bit of a nuisance here. magooisadorable finally able to finish off 7-1 very nicely. And prieR finds a fire flower, which will help take care of some of these pesky Koopa Troopas and Paratroopas. Unfortunately, it won't take care of that Cheep though, and Cheep still has a vendetta. Now magooisadorable has decided to go ahead and figure out where he wants to go next. And he has found a rock-blocked pipe. Gotta be careful saying that. Hey, Grim Reaper. It is my absolute honor to be here. This is a wonderful time of my day. I love being a part of the commentary, especially for such a great race. We have two extremely great runners here. We've got prieR and magooisadorable, who have been nothing short of sensational so far. And I have been looking forward to this race for quite a while. So my absolute pleasure being here today with you all. And I can't wait to see what happens here. This flag set did come from magooisadorable. This was a turning group 2, no in cards. So hammers will break locks, but that's about it. They'll break rocks and locks, no in cards. So item management is going to be key. We'll expect to see a lot of these Boomerang Brother fights. Maybe even see our runners running into a Mushroom House or two. With this being World 4 already, this is, of course, World 6. And we've only got 3 to go until Bowser's Castle. So we've got a little bit to go, and it looks like magooisadorable is going to basically avoid most of the fortresses here. I think that's going to be interesting to see if it bites him here in the future, because there is a lock and a bridge that we've seen so far, but I'm not sure that we've seen anything else. So we might have magooisadorable having to do a backtrack here. We'll check in on that in just a moment. Meanwhile, prieR has finished off the fight with Lemmy, really just the greatest Koopaling. I mean, the hair, the ball, he's got it all. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there. But get your guesses into chat. Which world is coming up next? We've seen 3, 1, 4, and we've seen 6 now. So what do you think? What's next? I got to go back to desert because I have been wrong every time so far. Let's go to. A hammer has now come up on the side of prieR. If he does remember that is going to be the, if he remembers that's going to be the hammers breaking locks, that could be very beneficial. The biggest thing here is you want to make sure that you don't go into World 8 with a hammer, most likely. The reason for that is a hammer is not going to be beneficial the majority of the time, whereas on levels like this where you can see all the different parts of the map at the same time, yeah, you could definitely figure that out pretty quick. magooisadorable making some excellent plays there, and we found the first hand level stage, which happened to have a star in it, so if we have any more of those, we'll get another star for that. prieR is trying to figure out what he wants to do here. Lemmy is maybe looking at a fire takedown here. Unfortunately, I said it too early, and that is going to be Magoo losing the fire flower. Oh my goodness, magooisadorable was able to basically squeeze in between a ball and Lemmy, utilize that to his advantage, came down right on top of the Circus Koopaling, and that is going to be the end of it for magooisadorable. Magoo just on his way out of World 6 into World 7. Meanwhile, prieR is doing his best to get through 5F1 as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the pipe maze has just been a little too taxing on our esteemed runner on the right. So magooisadorable is going to be looking at this, hopefully, as a chance to get caught back up here. Now, with the worlds 5 and 2 yet to play, there's obviously a rock on 2 that could be very beneficial. A lock could be broken at just about any given point. prieR gets the answer he was looking for. Will be taking a piranha fight here and will be utilizing a star to keep himself safe in the beginning, which I do not blame at all. Now, 3 very hungry fire piranha plants are trying to take prieR out. Says, not today, and gets a mushroom for the effort. So magooisadorable doing the exact same routing that prieR has done so far. Definitely wanting to know what happens next with this lock, I think. But wanting to play all the possibilities here first. Has found a dead end. So that means magooisadorable will have to go back. Will have to play that fortress because there's just no other options. So magooisadorable now into 5F1. prieR is now on his way into a World 7 level. So thanks, Fred, for that. You came here for a randomizer, man. No, I'm just teasing. If you randomize things enough times, you will get the exact same game you started with. And 7-7 up for prieR will be taking another star for good measure here. And that should finish off the level 5F1 for magooisadorable. He'll be fighting through this boom boom just as quick as he possibly can with the tiny little Mario. That is gray, I believe. I believe that is a gray Mario. I approve. Very nicely done. prieR now into the pyramid level stage and is going to have to do his absolute best to get a shell here before trying to go through that wall. Looked like a Karibo Shoe Goomba was having a little bit of a heyday with him, but it looks like magooisadorable will be joining into 7-7 as well. Our runners still just separated by a level. These guys are close. These guys are good, and these guys are close. prieR has been extremely fast so far. magooisadorable really putting on the accelerator as well, and has gotten a couple of 50-50 right so far. So, you know, if that keeps up, will luck beat prieR this time? Of course, it is a randomizer, and fortune sometimes will favor the bold, and so far it seems like that has been the case. prieR now into the second of the 2 piranha fights that we're going to have to play here, and is showing off on the jumps. Very precise to keep himself safe and not have to redo the level. Just over the paratroopa, and that is going to be the end of World 7, I do believe. A hammer comes up for prieR. World 2, World 5 both have sometimes very good places to utilize those hammers, and with them breaking locks, that should be very interesting. That should be a very good option for both of our runners. So with the extra advantage of a second hammer, I'm curious to see if either of our runners will actually take one to World 8. I said it's possible that it's not useful, and it's not very common for a hammer to be useful in World 8. But as soon as I say that, I should also mention that there are times where the race has been decided by a hammer. I've seen that multiple times. I know several runners in our community have seen that multiple times. It's both happened to them and against them. So if you bring a hammer into World 8 where you can break a lock with a hammer, you could be looking at a possible swing in your favor as far as the leadership change. So we will have to wait and stay tuned for that, because I would love to see it, honestly. I think it's an incredible swing and really changes the whole momentum, especially going into Game 2. So it looks like 3 levels on the left-hand side for our runners. A little curious as to why hammer wasn't used there. 3 levels here being skipped at 1 is a pretty good outcome. Would definitely be a very good favor for our runners. So I'm curious to see if we see a difference with magooisadorable. So it looks like magooisadorable is going to be taking a tail here, which is always a great item to have in the randomizer, whether it's keeping you safe for at least one more hit or taking a little bit of a slower fall and not, you know, falling down too quickly. It keeps you safe, especially with enemies like the set that we see on prieR's side. You know, sometimes you just need to fall with grace, and with style and a little bit of a delay. So anyway, so tail, really good thing to have. magooisadorable is able to finish off and will be joining into World 2 in just a moment. Very curious to see if he sees the lock on the right, and we'll go ahead and just take the early path to the pipe by going through that lock. We'll see if that is something he decides to do here. And it is exactly what he's going to do. He says, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and take the very first hammer. And that is going to be, oh, interesting. So a very good decision here for Magoo. He's going to have to decide what he wants to do here. If he beats this level normally, this is World 1 Fortress. If he beats it normally, it'll go ahead and break that lock that's in front of, well, it could break the lock that's at the bottom, but not necessarily. So there's no clear place as to where this is because neither lock was technically in the way. You could go up through 1, 2, come back around, beat that fortress, and now you're at the castle. Or you could go down and around, and that would, of course, break the lock as well. But we are not going to have an answer to that, I don't believe. So very interesting. Looks like magooisadorable is going to have to go ahead and go on around and play 1, 2, and then come back down for the castle. So interesting to see. We'll see if prieR decides to make any differences in his route here. I would imagine if he breaks the lock on the bottom, he may go after the rock. It would still save a couple levels, and he'll be on the castle first. So this may be another leadership change back into the favor of prieR, but of course we're going to have to wait and see. The other option here is that if magooisadorable, just about to say it, and I didn't even get the chance to, with magooisadorable getting that hammer, he could very well go through the lock, go through the rock, and be on his way to the castle. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. He could skip. He is absolutely going to skip it here. I love what Magoo is doing here. It is exactly what I think I would have done. 3 locks though, or 3 hammers, I guess, on World 2. Kind of makes you wonder, like, what happens next for our runner? And this is a little bit of a gamble here, I think. magooisadorable has opted to go ahead and do it. I think he's feeling the pressure and wants to be more aggressive here. The only concern I have is World 5 can sometimes be extremely difficult if you have a tower that goes up, then you have to come back down a pipe, beat a fortress, and then go back up. You're playing a lot of extra levels as opposed to breaking 1 lock and not having to come back down. So very curious to see what happens here. World 5 is that's where we're headed next. But, he's the one with the controller, not me. So he knows what he's doing. He's got this under control. World 7's airship is now in fight for both of our runners. magooisadorable finishing off Morton, who was a pretty salty Morton today. I believe that was 4, if I counted that correctly. prieR, on the other hand, is going to be fighting here into the fight with Morton here in just one moment. And I'm getting confirmation that it was 5 shots. And Earthquakey as well. I mean, that is exactly what you want from the Salt Boy. You're just getting your money worth at that point. That is a big, tanky, salty Morton, and that is going to be the end of it. Now, a Hammer Brothers shoot, I think, for the first time. Okay, looks like we've got a pipe that's going to go to the right. There's a fortress there. Oh, if there was a hammer, this is a jet seed. I think we're about to see another change of pace as prieR, I think, will go ahead and utilize... Oh, this is disgusting. magooisadorable has to figure out what he wants to do here. Unfortunately, without that hammer, he may have to go up and try to find that blue fortress. And yeah, prieR is about to, I think, jet through World 5. He's going to find this pipe. He's immediately going to go through. And just like that, we have another change of leader. What? Oh no, prieR doesn't... Maybe? Oh dear. I don't think prieR knows that hammers break locks. Oh dear, that is absolutely unfortunate. If prieR knew that the hammer broke the lock, that would be the end of this game. or at least this world. World 5 would be over for prieR, and that would give him a huge head start getting into World 8. But if he doesn't make a turnaround here, unfortunately, that means he's going to have to play through a large part of World 5 before he's able to get into World 8. So a little bit unfortunate here for our runner. And yeah, looks like he's going to go ahead and play through that. So unfortunately, he is going to have to go through and try to beat the levels faster than magooisadorable, which may mean that our runners will be entering into World 8 about the same time. So runners barely a half level apart. prieR has just been so fast, and yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens here. So now magooisadorable will find themselves in another one of the beta stages and is having a little bit of a problem with the fire chomp. And then the music block not giving the bounce that he was quite looking for. However, the hand level stage is also not playing very nice, and that is going to be the end of prieR's fight with a boomerang brother, fire brother actually. But his star is going to take care of that, so he should be able to get through the majority of the stage. Unfortunately, that star is about to run out, and the fire brother is still waiting for him. magooisadorable now through that beta stage yet again. It is a beta stage that was actually finished recently, I believe within the last year or so, by the creator of the randomizer, that is Fred Coughlin, very prominent in some of the other randomizer communities. Fire Bro not being a bro, that is for sure. Definitely not letting prieR by, but that will be a star that prieR is able to get there, as we saw earlier from Magoo. And that star will help replenish 2 of the stars that he did lose. So use 2 got 1, and 5F2 now up for prieR, as we see magooisadorable finishing that up. So now both runners will have the same outcome here. Either the lock will break or the bridge will build on the bottom. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. But as our runners are getting ready to go into World 8, chat, get your guesses in. What do you think we are going to see for Bowser's Castle? Are we going to get 1 bridge, 4 bridge, -1, 2? Looks like we've got a 4 and a 3 so far. I'm going to have to go with 2. It seems like it's been a pretty interesting seed so far. And just like that, we've got prieR hot on the tail of magooisadorable, and will be joining into World 5's airship just moments behind Magoo. And with a good run here, could be looking at catching up and entering the pipe about the same time that we'll see from magooisadorable. So just like that, another change of leadership from prieR to magooisadorable. Big Mac 416, this is a repeat. I am calling you out because I feel like right about this time, I need a Big Mac. So, and it's just after 416 here. So yeah, this is a repeat. I'm just teasing, obviously. But anyway, yeah, this has been a really good race so far. Unfortunately, prieR had either forgotten or didn't know that the hammers do break locks, or potentially keeping the hammers for World 8. This could be a very interesting World 8 if he decides to use both hammers as soon as he sees it. Honestly, I love the idea. Keep your hammers until World 8, see what happens. magooisadorable immediately going after World 2 Fortress. All right, looks like we've got 1 bridge that's going to be required. Mayo Rabbit with the prieR didn't need no stinking hammer to, or sorry, didn't need to hammer no stinking lock to catch up. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Did not need no stinking help. Did not need no stinking badgers. And that is going to be, oh, an unfortunate dry bones drop kill on Magoo. So looks like a peeling is the item of choice here. And now we've got prieR57 who is looking at a fight with Boom Boom, and magooisadorable is on his way back through to the Boom Boom fight. So Boom Boom coming up, magooisadorable is looking for a fight here. Having just a little bit of a problem here on World 2's fortress, but cannot blame him. This is not a comfortable fortress to be in. prieR decides to do a fort check, and unfortunately does not have the answer he's looking for. So now it's time for the tanks, which actually has tanks. Imagine that. So the super tanks is right, well, not exactly right where you'd expect them, but it's pretty close. It's not in the Bowser's Valley, but if this is the correct one, if this is the gatekeeper, that means prieR57 will be into the fight with Bowser in just moments. magooisadorable will be catching up just about as quickly as possible. So now that is the tanks that we just saw a moment ago from prieR57. We'll see if that is in fact World 8's answer. And if not, we'll see some more fortresses, which is exactly what we're going to be seeing. So very interesting for our runners. Neither of the fortresses up front are going to matter. They are going to have to play just a little bit more. But that's quite all right from us. Because personally, I like a little bit more action in my SMB3. So, magooisadorable still working on the path, the pipe maze. prieR57 still doing the same in the dark world. magooisadorable is going to be finding the same answer that we got from prieR57, but instead of going into that pipe to the right, he is going to go ahead and go back and see what else he can find. So very interesting. I don't believe we've really seen the hand bridge yet. Naval ship coming up now for Magoo, which is the Air Force, because that makes sense. So we had the tanks in the tank, and we've got the Air Force and the Navy. What's next? A fortress that has... Well, no, we've already seen 3F2, so that can't possibly happen. Maybe we're going to get 7F2. Been a pretty standard randomizer so far. Hasn't been bad at all, just long. A lot of levels that have had to have been played, and without the hammers breaking locks, it's taken a little bit longer. But prieR is having a bit of a problem with a hand level. And this is World 8-1, which is an easy one to get out of here pretty quick. But Animus United, as right as ever, you are absolutely correct. This is a big answer. So magooisadorable is wrong. Has the naval ship beaten, but just saw that a lock broke on the bottom of the dark screen there. So that's not going to be helpful at all for him. prieR now looking to get through 8-1 because he couldn't get through it the way that he would have preferred. So that means he is going to go through with the bouncing bullet bills. Now magooisadorable is going to go back to the pipe that he found initially and is going to not play either of these because that, of course, is wrong. So that does mean prieR is absolutely correct. Just took him a long time to get there, but 6F2 is your bridge gatekeeper today. That'll be the one that actually builds it. Interesting enemy on the bottom here. magooisadorable is about to go find a sidestepping Patooey, and there it is. Okay, very interesting. I think I've seen just about everything now. Diesel Pilot with an extremely good point there. If you keep all the bullet bills on screen, you can despawn some enemies because of the memory issue. If you have too many enemies on screen, you absolutely will despawn some of those. That's a strat that they use in 100% in some of the runs, and actually can cause certain certain enemies to not spawn, such as 6-5. When you fly up to the top, only one of the nippers shows up as opposed to two. So a very good call out there. If that was intended, that is an absolute pro play from prieR, as he's able now to take on Bowser. So the battle kit comes out, the Hammer Brothers suit, the star, it's time. magooisadorable has the one time through hand stage. Doesn't even stop to even look at it. I'm not even sure he knew it was a hand stage, honestly. He was through that so quickly. It kind of makes you feel sad a little bit, but not do much, as prieR is now on his way through the battle with Bowser, and a hand is not going to stop him. Neither of these runners. Hammer Brother is equipped. Mac and Cheese is being sought after. We'll see if we get the tasty side or if prieR is going to have to go the long way around and go for some fire-broiled Mario, really, if he doesn't get too... if he gets too close to the fireballs. prieR is having just a little bit of an issue. At some point, you have to start to wonder, wait, how much is too much? But prieR knows what he's doing here. Definitely wants to keep the hammer suit, wants to leave nothing to chance. Unfortunately, the clip is just not happening. Fortunately for prieR, does have time. magooisadorable is now through 6F2. If there is a little bit of an issue here, a laser or a fireball, neither one is going to be an issue. That is going to be the Hammer Brothers suit coming out for Bowser, and that is it for this first race. Get your GGs in chat. Very nicely done. And now, in just a moment, we are going to see the fight on the side for Magoo, as he's going to be looking for a Hammer Brother fight with Bowser as well. We'll see if the Bowser kill comes out for the Hammer Brother, if Mac and Cheese happens. Not quite yet. One time is all Magoo's going to take, and now wants to take chances with the fireballs and the laser. And now magooisadorable is taking on Bowser with a small Mario. That lack of a hitbox does help here. And here in just a moment, Magoo will be down, or Bowser will be down. Magoo is out, and that is all she wrote on this seed. Get your GGs in chat once again for magooisadorable and for prieR57, who put on really an outstanding performance. Just to be completely honest, that was outstanding. I sure enjoyed it. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Going to have to use the rest of the seat eventually, but not tonight, as this was an outstanding first race. And we will be back in just a moment to see our runners take it on again and see if they can get through to a round or to a best of 3. We'll see if we can get to race 3, or if prieR is going to take the 2-0 here. Hey, True Hyper Mario, how did that go? Did Japesu end up taking both of them? I'm guessing with how quick it was, I'm guessing that was a 2-0. We would like to welcome SpeedGaming 3, who just rated with a party of 136. Our runners are going to be getting started here in just one moment. We just finished the first race, where prieR57 took the first of the match. I can't say the first of 2 or 3 because magooisadorable really put up an extremely good fight. I mean, I definitely got to say I was impressed to see the run. Magoo had a game over at the very beginning, fought all the way back, was looking for a fight with Bowser with a Hammer Brothers suit towards the end. As prieR was finishing up, Magoo was joining in. So a very close match all in all. The official times for that were prieR57 40:28 and magooisadorable as 43:05. So very nicely done on the side of both the runners. And we will be getting started here in just moments as we get the flag seed. All right, we do have our runners getting the seed and the flag. That has been rolled, and they will be getting that all set up here in just a moment. They're going to be taking a break for a moment, so I'm going to step away and do the same. Get your refill on drinks, get your refill on popcorn, whatever it is that you desire here today, and we will be getting these guys started in just one moment. So don't change your browser. Just run, grab your stuff that you need, come right back. Game 2 is going to be started here in just one moment. I'll introduce the seed. I'll kind of explain it before we get started, and we'll be good to go for Game 2. And just like that, we are back into the fray. It is time to go. Our runners are gearing up and ready for a match. It is time for Game 2. Now, we have a little bit of a different seed here. The first one was Group 2. Basically, what that means is we randomized a whole bunch of stuff. And hammers broke locks, but the in-card game did not exist. This time, we flipped the roles. This is the preference of prieR57 over on the right. We've got a in-card game activated, but hammers will not break locks, so the item management should come a lot quicker. Our runners are already off and running into World 6. Itzuna, I am so glad that you're here with us today. This is an outstanding match that I'm expecting to see really great things from. magooisadorable, just shy of taking the win from prieR57 there. And just like that, we've got a hammer. We may be looking to see if there's a... Ooh, this could be good. So there's a couple of thin panels there that we can see on screen right next to the Marathon Brothers. A water arena with Fire Brothers is going to be up on the side of prieR. magooisadorable takes the hammer as well. I'm very curious to see if our runners go back and utilize the hammer on the rock at the beginning. Going to be interesting to see, because that would be a very good place. It should spit you out directly to the left of where that first pipe comes out at, which means you would play a couple of levels, that 2-panel, and then either where normally 6-9 or 6-10 are, and then that should be Lemmy. So I am interested if they can figure this out real quick. There are 2 10 panels. Normally there's only one, which means at most there could be 2 fortresses. And one of those is going to build that bridge that takes our runners to the pipe that's right there on the right. So we know where the first fortress is. I just don't know why we're going back to it. I guess if you need to play that fortress, go break that rock. If that doesn't build the bridge, then you can use the hammer on the rock and then skip forward. If it does build the bridge, well, then you can just go ahead and move on through it anyway. So, interesting. World 6, as clever as always. prieR57 now taking on a star. Not exactly the most valuable item that you could possibly find, but it's good for about 20 seconds if you try to run through and keep yourself safe from an angry sun and a fire-spitting piranha. So far, so good, as prieR is making his way through. Got a little bit of a divergence. Fortress on the left. magooisadorable has out. Decides to go ahead and play the Navy first. We have the Navy and the land of ice and snow. Okay, looks like prieR57 going to do the exact same thing. Fire Brother, not going to be nice. And that's going to be one hit, one shot for prieR57. He's down for the count. And now take 2, that'll work. He's got it this time. Boom, boom. On his way through. Okay, so very interesting. So it looks like magooisadorable has still played the fortress. If either of our runners had gone back to that pipe, played the 9-panel, and then broke that rock and went through that pipe, I think it still would have been a bit of an advantage. But unfortunately, we did not get to see that today, and that's quite all right. The hammer's out. We've got a chance to use it still in either 2, 3, and possibly 4. normally where that World 4 Fortress 1 would be, you could break the rock right next to that, and it'll take you straight down to the Spade game and actually bypass that level. So I've seen it before where that is actually a very good play, and could be worth it for our runners. But as Mayo Rabbit posted, it is a 310 panel, as you see the last one there on the bottom right, next to the Hammer Brother. And I mean, that's going to be it. So take your pick, either 5 or 6. It looks like 6 for Magoo is Adorable. That is going to be one of the hand level stages. And unfortunately, the Fire Brother is going to be a problem this time yet again. Not a bro. The Fire Brother is not being a bro. And that's okay, because a P-Wing will finish it off. Oh! Even though bro is still not a bro, as the Rogue Fireball does take Magoo's P-Wing there, but a Jubilant Cloud for the effort. So very interesting. This could be very interesting. Our runners will obviously be favoring the... Wow. Look at the clouds. It is a cloudy day today, as our runners have just pulled out 2, one from a hand level stage, and one from a Boomerang Brother. So those fights are definitely worth it, as both Hammer Brother, well, as both of the Boomerang Brother stages there really provided a cloud for the effort. So short levels are producing good results. That's definitely what our runners favor and want to see there for sure. So Magoo is Adorable into the fight with the World 7 airship, and of course that is Lemmy, the conniving Koopa Carney, and air in just a couple shots. That is going to be the end of the fight. 3 is going to be pretty vanilla, and that is it for Magoo. Get your guesses in. We've seen World 6. What do we see next? I'm going to have to go with 3. Let's get the watery levels out of the way first. But that's just me. What do you think? We are now on his way through World 7's airship, and we've got Magoo is Adorable, who is being told a story about a Koopa in pajamas. It's a fine story if you haven't heard it before. And now World 3 it is. Juliana and I, we got it this time. Thank goodness. Zero Wing with a really good observation. That 0 on the life counter, a little bit daunting. Cloud was used at the end, most likely to keep prieR57 safe. Just to be on the safe side, you do not want to take a game over at World 6, especially when you've played as many levels as you have. Fortunately, that fortress would stay beaten though, so not too terrible, but you would still have to play a couple of levels, and quite frankly, it is extremely demoralizing when you have to play through a world again. A very good question. Where did all the forts go? They certainly weren't in World 6. That means one of our other worlds is in fact going to have 3 fortresses. We'll just have to wait and see which one that is. So far, prieR has... well, yeah, in World 3 as well. I misread the comment, but absolutely. World 3 only has 1 fortress as well. Normally where there would be 2, there's 1. So now we have 3 fortresses so far that have not been accounted for. So Magoo is going to be looking for the fight with Wendy here in just a moment. Pretty jet World 3 so far. Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. World 8, 4 bridges, let's go. The elevator comes down, prieR is into the fight with Boom Boom, and Magoo is Adorable having just a little bit of a problem with 3-8 here. Not exactly the friendliest of levels, but we'll get through it with no problems whatsoever. Actually, surprisingly enough, one of the easier levels to speed run, because there's really not much that you can do to speed that up. You got to swim, and that's slow. Main card game comes up for prieR, unfortunately not able to make matches there. And now we have Magoo is Adorable taking one look at his inventory. There was 2 clouds there, and ooh, that was Magoo is Adorable fighting in the water arena, very fitting for World 3. That second Fire Brother was just moments away. We're talking milliseconds away from putting a beat down on Magoo is Adorable, but thankfully he was able to finish that off, and now the fight to Wendy will commence. So now that we're in the airship, let's go ahead and get that guess in. We're in World 2 airship, but where are we going next? I gotta go with World 2. honestly. I think World 2's airship, call me conspiracy theory, but I think there's something there. Now the Sky Arena for prieR57 as he takes on the Fire Brothers, and that is going to produce the same item, which is in fact a music box. May come in handy on World 7. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. Magoo is adorable with a side salad Wendy. I think you got shorted a couple fries there because that is not much of a fight, but World 2's airship puts up no fight with Wendy, and now our runners are going to be running into World 3 here in just moments. World 6, World 3, we've seen one fortress apiece so far. So now the question is, which world are we going to next, and will it have the fortresses we're looking for? We got the side salad, we got a small fry, we got whatever you want to call it. It just wasn't enough. That Wendy fight left a little bit to be desired. I guess it is World 3's airship. I was thinking the cannons, but World 2 airship you have to go down and around as well. World 3's airship has the cannons, World 2 doesn't. So very good call out, D-Boyer. Absolutely correct. And that was actually vanilla too then. Bad seed, I apologize. This is the second seed I've rolled today that was invalid. So you guys are going to have to get me kicked off the desk here because I obviously don't know where World 3 F2 belongs. It's basically anywhere but 8 as far as I'm rolling apparently. So I apologize. I will make sure you all get refunded your money from the price of admission. I will make sure that gets taken quick care of right away. And a fire nipper here being a huge pain for prieR. This enemy set not being nice at all. Now our runners have taken a little bit of a divergence. Magoo is adorable, opting to play the fortress first, and now has a little bit of a problem where prieR was able to get through. Magoo is adorable has taken a little bit of a restart here, and looks like going to go ahead and take the frog suit. Very interesting. Not exactly sure I'm understanding that one, but I applaud it. That's cool. Looks like he's going to go ahead and take the fall, and we'll be going through the bottom path. Maybe opting for a little bit of a better option here. Maybe the enemy set's going to be a little bit better here for him. Either way, a little bit of a damage boost here will uncover that hidden mushroom underneath the frog suit. And now Magoo is adorable is on his way through. prieR57 with the huge play on the frog suit. If you're a frog suit lover, this is the fortress you want to see. 3F2 coming up, and prieR57 just has to hold that A, which is actually backwards. If you want to swim fast, it's A. Go figure. And that is going to be it for prieR57. You can't get much faster than that through 3F2, the water fort. Now 3F2 is finishing up for prieR. We are back with Magoo in the lead. And interesting, it looks like Magoo has opted to go ahead and put that piranha to sleep and go to the left instead of okay. He's here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and opt to play the fortress that's here as well. So very interesting. This is interesting indeed. Both of our runners opted to go to the left. I'm curious to see if prieR, okay, we've got a divergence. prieR is in fact going to go to the right and is going to play the piranha. Nope, going to screen skip over it. And will opt to stay on the... Okay, so if you're looking at it like world map, that's how I like to describe it. We've got Magoo is adorable over in South America. Going to go ahead and play that in-card game. We've got prieR57 currently down in the Reigns of Africa and needs to figure out where he's going next. Looks like a lot of dead combos here, but he does have a fortress. So if he decides to play this before taking off, oh, very interesting. Both fortresses are required. This is going to be an extremely long World 7 and quite daunting. All three fortresses are in play. 3F2 has been playing on the side of both of our runners so far, and I'm not sure if it was necessary. It may have well been. It could have been in the route. It could have been a problem. So all three fortresses may have been required. If we were asking for a crazy World 7, we got it. It was about time. We were starting to get a little too comfortable, I think, with some of the seeds and how vanilla they were, for lack of any better term. And now Magoo's Adorable is unfortunately not getting the answer he wants of getting over to Asia/Australia. That's obviously where we're looking at trying to get down. But Magoo's Adorable going to have to go back and try to figure out the answer, and we'll not screen skip over the Piranha, and we'll go ahead and have to play this. But having the extra items here, not a bad option. You're World 7, it's World 3 in the Randomizer. Honestly, having a couple of items before you get into the halfway point is a very good thing to have, especially before you get to World 8. The hammer's not going to be a huge option, but those clouds are very valuable. We've seen that already from Magoo. Magoo has, I think, at least 2 clouds, and prieR57 may have another one in the inventory. Now prieR is still trying to figure out what he wants to do, realizes, hey, wait, that fortress is going to be required. So now that is going to be a couple of levels here for prieR, and Magoo is Adorable doing the exact same thing. So really no clear leader at this point. Magoo is Adorable going to be figuring out the exact same thing prieR just figured out, which is how to get to World 7's castle. And at this point, Magoo is Adorable still trying to take a double take. Where am I going? So one more pipe Magoo is Adorable is going to find, and then we'll probably have to go play that fortress. Okay, prieR has discovered... Okay, this is interesting. So prieR has opted to take a game over strat. We'll play the super tanks. Should be able to get through this without any problems. Boom, boom at the end here. And then as soon as he gets through this, he'll go back and actually take a game over, and we'll reset to the beginning of the world, keeping all his items, obviously. But will not have to play either of the fortresses again. However, he will have to go back and play the fortress in the level that he started with. So very interesting indeed for all the runners. A little bit of a difference in the ways that they have approached this, but neither one I can't say is wrong here. It's you just got to do what you got to do. So a lot of pipes here, a lot of rework as our guys are just trying to get through a much longer seed. Okay, I am a complete liar. prieR has decided not to play or to take a game over here and restart. He is opted to go ahead and play through. Is going to fight as long as he can. If he can get through 2 levels here, he may be able to get a... No, he won't be able to get a star here. But he will be able to get a 1-up after the next level. And, of course, if he's able to get 57 more coins, he'll also be able to get a 1-up. So it looks like clouds may be coming out here for Magoo is Adorable. And just kidding. That's not actually going to happen. Magoo has 2 clouds I think I've seen so far. So probably not a bad idea to keep it here. We haven't seen 7-5 yet. Haven't seen Atlantis. Haven't seen 5-9. So definitely a lot left to go. prieR57 now catching up as quickly as possible to Magoo. And there's just not a whole lot left in this World 7. Both runners are neck and neck. This sync-up is crazy. And the Tanukis are, well, the Tanukis were real. Sorry, said it too soon. I think that's absolutely correct, D-Boyer. I think it's 2 clouds to 1. That 2 cloud advantage could be very good. Now it's 1-0, but that is going to be Magoo is Adorable into a fight with the one and only Conductor of Calamity, World 2's airship this time. I know which one this one is. World 2's airship hosting the one and only Conductor of Cacophony, the Calamity Chaos Conductor himself, Ludwig von Koopa, who is not going to be Earthquakey this time, but had 2 record deals, and that's going to be the end of it. So World 3 finally done. 6, 3, and 7 now down for the count. What do you got, chat? Where are we coming to next? I got to go with World 1. Let's start over at the basics and see what happens next. Big card game up for prieR. We'll see if this gives the items that he is looking for. And also, before it's too late, a wild Tanuki appears. Command. So get your commands in chat if you so choose. World 2, here we go. A broken pipe is at the very beginning here, so very worthless. A hammer comes up on the side of prieR, and not going to be extremely helpful. World 6 already done, World 3 already done. World 2 might have a good place, and by the looks of it, there was a lock on the top right. Might not need it. I think there may be a World 1 fortress here, and that may just not be required. So hammer, we'll see if that's necessary. Ludwig von Koopa on the side for prieR57 once again. Oh, I apologize. I did not count that correctly at all. I believe that's going to be 3 shots here, which I'm sure prieR is very thankful for, as... Okay, we have a gamble. I like it. So we have a little bit of a gamble. There are 2 locks, as we do have 2 fortresses here, and Magoo has opted to go ahead and break the rock and play this fortress, and if this is the correct one, he'll be moving basically straight onto the castle. prieR is going to have to make the same decision. Will you break the rock or play the levels and go towards the top fortress? Very good call from Moon. I'm going to butcher your name, and I apologize. Moonquist? Anyway, it sounds like monkeys to me, honestly. But yeah, Ludwig will try his best to yeet himself out of the stage. And our lovely developers actually had to fix that and figure out Mooncoos. Okay, I can work with that. Thank you. So our developers actually have to work with that and make it so he could not jump out of the stage, because that's absolutely something he was doing. So that was a pretty early on fix that they had to figure out, because you take the earthquake and then want to jump out the stage. Go figure. All that heavy weight is, I guess, building up their leg muscles. So never skip leg day. And that gamble is going to pay off. So a rock, a fortress, and a level is going to be right next to the castle. And what do you know? It's 6-6 is going to be the gatekeeper. So it looks like prieR is going to do the exact same guess. And 6-6 is going to require a cloud from Magoo. Love to see it. That is going to be the end of World 2 for Magoo. And that is the World 5 airship. So Morton will be coming up here in just a moment. And so will our next world. Chat, get your guesses in. 2, 3, 6, 7 is what we've seen so far. I gotta go back to Forestland. Let's go World 1. And based on a chat that I just saw come up on my screen, Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Challenge Cup is happening now on SpeedGaming 5. That is a race between our very own... I was trying to delay for just a moment. We've got magooisadorable versus prieR here. And over on SpeedGaming 5, we've got Hayfield Bay versus Jay Coper. So an excellent race there for sure. And they will be running a best of 3 as well. So definitely one to check out. If you can put multiple Twitch streams up, do it, because all the SMB3 is what we want today, right? I know I do, so I can only assume you do as well. I mean, that's why we're here, right? World 1 finally coming up for our runner. And looks like magooisadorable has a straight shot to the first world's fortress, which is fitting that we're here. Magoo is opting to go ahead and go for the item. I'll be honest, I did not see where that lock is. I don't know how much of a problem this is going to be for Magoo. We'll see that here in just a moment when he gets to the overworld. But anyway, I digress. 8 p.m. tonight on Eastern Time. We have prieR57 taking on Europsles, and we have magooisadorable and Sinister Sama on the commentary for that. You don't want to miss it. That's over on SpeedGaming. Be there. It's going to be incredible. That is going to be an extremely good race. Would not surprise me at all if that goes to 3. Both extremely good runners, and that is going to be one to watch for sure. prieR coming out of the bracket stages as the... Sorry, I had it just a moment ago. As the number 5 seed, he was able to come out of round robin with number 5, and Europsles with number 12, who had to take down High Flyer 28 TTV for a 2-0 win early on in round 1. So both runners have ultimately earned their place here at this point, and you are not going to want to miss that. That's at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. Be there. That's on SpeedGaming. And now we've got, obviously, magooisadorable here versus prieR57. Over on SpeedGaming 5, we've got Hayfield Bay versus Jay Coper just starting off. Frantic 32's over there commandeering that one. commentary. And then we've got tonight at 9 p.m., Homer J Smash takes on Ryko Rider on Speed Gaming 3. So basically what I'm saying is if you haven't followed and are part of all of the Speed Gaming channels, what are you waiting for? We're obviously going to be across the board. We're on everything. We're going to be everywhere tonight. And even tomorrow, we've got another race tomorrow at 8 p.m., and that's going to be Paradox64 versus Tapatio J. And the very own Sharkid and Teeks88 are going to be on there as well for commentary. So be there. Make sure you mark it on your calendar. Make sure you mark it on your schedule. Make sure you're following all the Twitch channels for Speed Gaming. Obviously, Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Be there. Those are going to be great. So those are the matches that we have coming up. But what we have right now is magooisadorable taking on World 8 Fortress and prieR taking on World 1 Fortress. We've got the beginning and we've got the end of our Fortress games today. Not enough SMB3 tonight. I completely agree. I mean, we've got one race just about every hour from 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. We obviously missed 7, so, you know, we need more runners here. Come on, let's go. Now, that is going to be the last of World 1 Fortress, but not before an in-card game. Now, we've got prieR57, who is looking at getting through 2-3 as quickly as possible here. This can be a little bit of a daunting task with Small Mario, but prieR57 making it look super easy. And that is going to be one last, there we go, one last little bit of a trickery spot as prieR57 has to be careful with that Koopa shell, because as soon as he does try to go grab that, it can get very dicey very quick. That little spiny guy is problematic. 7-5 being a bit of a problem for magooisadorable decides, you know what? I got a cloud. I got a Frosty. I got a cloud. Let's go for it. So that is going to be a Sledge Brother shot with the frog suit and on the ice no less. So the Sledge Brothers in perfect harmony here are going to make it very difficult for Magoo to finish either of these guys off, but finally does so and is going to be given a star for the efforts. So 7-5 is going to get skipped here, and prieR57 is going to be on his way through 7-8, I believe. I always get this one wrong. I always get it wrong. And I did once again. 7-7. 7-7 goes down for prieR, and he's going to be going back and fighting 7-5 here just a little bit, but not before facing 8F1. And currently, magooisadorable is putting onto his lead by taking out Larry here. So we've got 4 and 5, I believe, left to go. We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows. Sometimes you get the middle, and that's what we're about to go to next. You've got a 50-50 shot, chat. 4 or 5. What do you think? prieR57 taking a little bit of a different path than we normally do. And we will be looking for the next. Okay. Very interesting. All roads lead to Rome, apparently, as prieR finds a different path that we normally don't see, that I normally don't see. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It was the one that he wanted to take at this point, and he got exactly where he wanted to be. So there we go. prieR, now with the Fire Flower, is going to be fighting Boom Boom here for one moment. And unfortunately, Chess Midget, Radium, and Moon Coos, you're just born early, and you'll be right next time. So after this one, you got it. 6F1 coming up for magooisadorable, and is going to be utilizing the jump strat. It's a very powerful elite strat, and it's extremely complicated. As you stand on the platform, you have to mash A as quickly as possible to make the most noise as you can. So it is a very distinguished speed run strat that we don't see often enough, I think, honestly, personally. magooisadorable going for the orb here, and prieR is a little bit laggy here, but we will get him back up as quickly as possible. And there we have it, 7-5 up on the side of prieR, and he does have that Fire Flower scoop to go along with it. We haven't seen enough World 7 levels. I don't care who you are. We've got 7-1 now, and we see magooisadorable going for a tail flip. Not impossible, just hard. Magoo is Adorable still hoping for just one enemy that would pop its head out and do just a little bit of damage so he could be a Super Mario. prieR, on the other hand, is doing a fantastic job of getting through 7-5 here, and a Fire Flower is not going to be in the works for prieR, as he does have to start over with, well, I mean, he's not starting anything over, but he is going to have to keep going through 7-5 as Mushroom Mario. Magoo is Adorable has to get through to another enemy set here. We'll see if he opts to. He will. He's going to take the early exit. Piranhas are very good for that. And is going to start over with a mushroom, it looks like. And that's obviously all he needed, because that was the first try every time. And Magoo is Adorable is out of 7-1. Should have just started with that, maybe. I don't know. But you never know. I mean, you try your best there. After a while, you just have to take a different approach. And it seems like that's exactly what he needed. So first try, every time. We are now into the World 6 airship. He'll be fighting, I guess that's Larry. So we'll see Larry coming up here in just a moment. A little bit of a freeze here on the side of prieR. We'll get caught up with that here in just a moment. Magoo is Adorable still extending the lead, though, as he's finishing up World 6, which happens to be World 4. And we'll be taking on a Boomerang brother here in just a moment. By Boomerang, I mean Hammer Bro. Thank you for the effort. Star will jump off screen as quickly as possible. Magoo is Adorable will be taking on 3-1, which is not a terrible level to play. So no real need to try to skip over the level. And there is a pipe to the left there, so that may be very valuable as soon as he gets through 3-1. Be useful for skipping a couple of stages there. Mawaj is well. I actually just read a story about Princess Bride earlier, so it does seem fitting to have to read that. Plus, it's fun, you know? All the little voices and actors in Princess Bride. It's a classic. If you haven't watched it for a while, I'm not telling you what to do, but it's there. So anyway, Magoo is Adorable has that pipe. It is not useful. I apologize. But now he's going to have to make a decision. 2-panel or Fortress. It could be anything in World 2's World 4's 2-panel. There is a cloud that just came up for Magoo. I'm sure he's happy to see that. And is going to go ahead and bypass that other Boomerang brother. Does not want to play it. Fire Flower, here we go. World 5's airship now up for Magoo is Adorable. So Magoo is Adorable blowing through World 4. Chat, get your guesses in. What do you think is next? Which world's coming up next? We've got World 5 to go, and then World 8 will be at the end. Get your guesses into chat. What do you got? Iggy being a little bit of a turd here. And finally, there we go. All right, Magoo is Adorable is able to get through. And prieR57 is going to be looking for 7-1 clip here in just a moment. And do not worry about the cropping that you see on screen. We have magical elves in the background that are doing fantastic work that make us all look good, sound good, feel good, you know, whatever the case may be. But we've got some really unsung heroes that work behind the screens. Diesel Pilot is the one that we go to for a lot of things, all things SMB3. I think I can honestly say if it weren't for Diesel Pilot, I'm not sure that the majority of the SMB3 tournament would have happened. So huge shout out to him for always being available, always being a part, and for doing just exceptional work. There you go. So hit a GG in chat for Diesel Pilot whenever you can, because we certainly do appreciate the help and seriously would not be here without it. Magoo is Adorable, taking a Fire Flower into a fight with a Boomerang brother. That is going to be the end of it for him, and a star for the effort. And prieR57 now hot on the tail of Magoo is Adorable, and that is going to be a 3-1 with Small Mario which doesn't go too well. Magooisadorable now into the tower. I find this very interesting. We have a blue fortress on the left-hand side. We've already seen the two worlds with one fortress, so there's a very good chance there's going to be a second fortress up top. The blue fortress was on the bottom, so if you've got a blue block up top, there's a good possibility Magooisadorable is going to have to play this over again. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Tower from Magooisadorable is finishing up here in just a moment. prieR57 with a Tanuki tail will be... Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought Tanuki tail. He must have taken damage a moment ago. But he is going to be finishing off 3-1 here in just moments. And just like that, Magooisadorable will be having to turn around because that blue fortress is in fact required. So in-card game on the bottom, we'll see if he decides to go ahead and play that. If not, we do have the 6th panel there, and that is going to put us into another one of the green levels, and I'm not even going to attempt to guess which one this is, because I'm always wrong. I know there's people that know way more than I do, and I appreciate them so much. I believe this is actually one of the levels that is beta stage, and was brought in from the code, as some of those were actually not included in the game automatically, and I do believe that is absolutely correct. This is one of the beta stages, which was finished off and brought into the game because we're gluttons for punishment. We want to play all the SMB3 levels. Magooisadorable now finds himself into 5F1. One of my personal favorite ones. If you can get the P-Speed shot on this one, it feels great. It is really cool. You're kind of like slipping under the disco balls and making little crouch jumps over or through that tunnel to avoid the thwomp. And Diesel Pilot with the confirmation that it's a 7.3 beta. We name it that because it is very similar to that level. So 7.3, very close and similar in look and feel with the rolling hills to that beta level. So thank you so much for keeping me honest. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for that confirmation. And now we've got prieR, who is into World 5 and could be gaining a little bit of a catch-up here, as he may opt to go ahead and play World or the 6th panel first before going up. Okay, no, it looks like he's going to go ahead and take on the Hammer Brothers and Sledge Bro here. There we go. Finally, he's able to get it on the 2nd try and a star for the efforts. And Magooisadorable on his way through the tower for the 2nd time. prieR57 opting to not play the fortress. Go ahead and play the tower as well. And we'll be finding out what Magooisadorable just found out. And that's that you're going to have to play that extra fortress, I do believe. Now, there are 2 fortresses here, obviously. There is a lock on top, and there is a bridge on the bottom that normally would be good. But neither one's really going to be required. Well, the blue one, I believe, is required. And that is absolutely true. So the blue fortress will be utilized for the blue lock that's up on top from the Sky World, which prieR is going to have to figure out here in just moments. The 36th minute is ticking away as Magooisadorable seeking to extend the lead here. 3 Hammer Brothers suits. At some point, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those come out. Maybe as the mushrooms and the fireflowers run out, you will be looking at some of those Hammer Brothers suits, which are still 2 hits before your small Marios. So not a bad item to have, if nothing else, just for the added protection. And 3-2 being a little bit of a problem for Magoo. And I might be seeing things here, but I think that Cheep Cheep was daunting Magoo. As he was trying to jump up out of the water, that Cheep Cheep was jumping up around right behind him. I think that's just me, but maybe that's just me. So 3-2 now out of the way for Magooisadorable. prieR57 opting to go ahead and just play these. Unfortunately, I think going to be a little disappointed that this does not break the lock. However, the fortress is still in the way, so I think this is a very good decision. You're already here, go ahead and play it. In the off chance this does break the lock, you're going to be fine. You don't have to go back down. Unfortunately, we know what happens next. He's going to have to go down the pipe that takes him down through the tower, back around, play that 6th panel, and then play the fortress. So prieR57 with a little bit of a disappointment coming up here in just a moment, but we'll be playing the same fortress that we just saw from magooisadorable, and that of course is the 4F1. And I said that matter-of-factly to see if anybody was going to correct me in chat. Not really, but I'm going to pretend that I did. That was actually 4F2 that we see prieR57 going through. And 8-2 on the side of magooisadorable. We're going to go ahead and take the Sands of Shame, but there's no shame in that. He's going to be going through to the second half of the level, the second hill, if you will. Will not allow that middle piranha to spawn right away. And a running jump will get him all the way over the chasm, where he doesn't even have to worry about the note blocks, and he is on his way through to the castle, I do believe. So now, the fight with Roy the boy, the one and only heavyweight champ. We've got magooisadorable versus Roy the boy, taking all bets. prieR57 now on his way through the 7-3 beta is running through very nicely. That is going to be the end of it for him. Now, that is going to mean the fortress comes up next. Roy is down for the count. That's it. Gives up the heavyweight champion title. And now our runner, magooisadorable, on his way through to World 8. Get your guesses in chat. How many bridges to Bowser do we see next? We had a guess of 4 bridges earlier. So you know what? I'm going to hold to that. But not quite, because I have a better chance of it being what I don't guess. So 3 bridges it is. That's what I think. Radium, you and I, we're going to go with 3. You had your guesses in chat, because any given time, this could happen real quick. World 8 has a propensity of being extremely long or extremely short. If we've got a 0... a -1, both very possible, could put our runners into Bowser's Castle extremely quickly. Now we've got the door 3-4 of 3F1 on the side of magooisadorable. And I tend to agree with True Hyper Mario here. Magoo is forcing this to a game 3. Magoo has had an extremely good fight so far. The hammers breaking locks has not been a factor this time. And he is fighting as hard as he can get. And I believe the dream is still alive for magooisadorable, looking for Bowser's Castle here, I think. Is just wanting to figure out the recon here first. Going to be looking through a lot of pipes before he has to play too many fortresses. Still not seeing any locks here. This is getting interesting for sure. Okay, now we've got the Navy. Going to go ahead and play it. And Fort Knox. Everyone's favorite. Let's see, Scrooge McDuck's Safe, I think, is one that we've called it. Fort Knox, I think, is the traditional one. Bowser's Coin Hoard, whatever you want to call it. A lot of really good names there. And a Tanuki suit will be required. You do have to fly up to the pipe where Boom Boom is. Quite honestly, I think Boom Boom just wanted to be left alone, but he's still left to tail in the castle. So, you know, at some point you just gotta wonder about these guys. Like, if you wanted to be left alone, why'd you leave a tail in the castle? But these guys are great. They even give the hero a chance, really, to be the hero. You know? But if there were no enemies, there were no heroes. So you guys are the real OG. So magooisadorable now through the fight with 7F2 as a Tanuki suit, because hey, why not? Now, prieR57 has the satisfaction of finishing off the blue fort and is now into World 8's second level. And normally you would find in the same dark room that we've seen magooisadorable in a couple times. And Magoo's still looking for Bowser's Castle. So many pipes. Which one? Which one? Okay, looks like 2 fortresses are required. It's more of a question here in just a moment of which one is the correct fortress. 5F2, a possibility. A little bit of a misjump there for Magoo is going to require our esteemed runner to have to play this one again. But no big deal. 5F2, he's got it this time. And we'll see if he's able to get a couple of power-ups here in just a moment, or if he'll just go straight through the level, which it looks like he's going to do. Power through. Let's go. Magoo is with a mushroom. prieR is with a fire flower, getting through the airship here in just a moment. 2 fortresses are required to take on Bowser, as there are 2 bridges in front of the castle. There is a hand level stage, so that's not going to be required, obviously. magooisadorable just finishing off 5F2. I wonder if he's going to go back and try to find Bowser's castle, or if he's going to go ahead and play the other fortress. At this point, he is a long way ahead. He's got several minutes over prieR, who is just now getting into World 8. And that's going to do it. That is going to do it. So the Hammer Brother comes out. The star comes out. It's time to get real with Bowser. We're going to get real close and personal. We'll see if the Hammer suit comes out. The clips have been pretty decent today. A little difficult on the 7-1. But then the second try, that was first try. So we'll still count it. We're going to count it like I count golf strokes. I don't. So yeah, a very long seed so far. World 6, World 7 both had a lot required in them. Even for being a 1 Fortress World 6, there was a lot going on there. So magooisadorable taking on the classic 1 try. Nope, I'm done. Gonna go ahead and take the chances with the fireballs. Gonna have to be a little bit patient here. So far, so good. They've been overhead, so he's just have to be a little bit cautious, and that is going to do it. No lasers. Hammer Brother is coming out, and there goes Bowser. Get your GGs in chat. Way to go, Magoo. We've got Game 3 coming up next. So GG's for sure to magooisadorable for putting up really just an outstanding race. An extremely long one, but able to persevere and get through in 45 minutes. Let me get the official time here of 45:06. And prieR, seeing that, is going to go ahead and not finish the race as we get ready for Game 3. So we're going to be getting this turned around real quick. Get your GGs in chat again for these guys. An exceptional run, and now Game 3 hype coming up next. Get whatever you need done real quick, because we're going to be back here in just a moment. Game 3 on its way. Alrighty, it is time once again. Our runners are ready to go. They are raring, and it's time. It is time for game 3. These guys are not taking any time at all to get set up and ready to go. They are ready for game 3. Are you ready for game 3, chat? It is time. Here in just about 36 to 45 minutes, we're going to be crowning our new winner of the match. It's not like champion or anything, but the winner of the match will be determined here in just a little bit. But we got to start with the first world before we can get to any of the others. So get your guesses in chat. What's coming up next? Do we have World 2, the Land of Desert? Do we have World 6, the Land of Ice? What do you got? I got to go with World 3. I'm going to have to be a little bit contradictory to what we see in chat so far. We've got a couple World 7s as a reverse world order. We've got a World 4 starting up. And it looks like World 6 is going to be the beginning. Now, this is a tiebreaker match. Neither of the runners got to choose. This is determined at the beginning. Basically, what we're going to be facing here is a bracket stage where all of the tiles except fortresses are questioned. So in World 6, what a place to start. Because World 6 is one of the longest worlds. In fact, it's the longest going all the way left to right. There are so many screen transitions, and there's only 4 pipes, and some of them won't do anything. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens for these runners. Super Tank's coming up super early in our run. Definitely not going to be in World 8 this time. It is, in fact, in World 6, which is World 1. Welcome to Randomizer. So prieR57 now into the fight with Boom Boom, but he is Small Mario. Super Mario on the side of Magoo is going to be fighting Boom Boom here in just a moment. If he can keep the mushroom, he will. And now the fight is going to start between him and Boom Boom, and that is going to do it here in just moments. Hammer Brother in a water level is not okay for Small Mario, but prieR57 makes it okay as he's able to get through and is now on and fighting into the next part of this World 6. prieR57 now trying to figure out what he wants to do here. Looks like there are going to be 3 fortresses as we see 2 fortresses right off the bat there. One of the Hammer Brothers did provide a hammer, I do believe. prieR57 is going to go ahead and use that, and that is going to allow him to continue moving on. magooisadorable has opted to go ahead and play 7-8. A little bit of a nasty little level here, but he's opted to go ahead and play this. He looks like he's going to go all the way through, and we'll be looking forward to hopefully getting a special item here in just a moment. No, hammers do not break locks in the bracket set. Hammers breaking locks is typically turning group 2, and that's what we saw in the last 2, but magooisadorable opted to have hammers breaking locks, whereas prieR did not. So it all comes down to the runner's choice in the first 2. And this one, though, prieR is going to have to figure out what he wants to do. Magoo, with the heads-up play, has opted to play 7-8 already, and is going to go back and play those fortresses in just a moment. He saw 3 forts in World 6 and has opted to go ahead and play those fortresses. I think that's a really good decision, and that's going to be, I think, extremely valuable for him. prieR is opting not to take that bottom route and is going to be taking his chances with the piranhas here. Koopa will do the trick for taking out one of the piranhas still in the pipe, and that is going to allow prieR to continue moving on. Magoo finds himself in 7F1. Do we have a 7F1, 7F2 gatekeep? This is going to make me really happy. This is a disgusting World 6 to start. And chat, if you don't appreciate the fact that this is a disgusting World 6 to start Game 3, we got to get you on board the hype train, because this is fantastic. So 7F1 now up for magooisadorable. Scrooge McDuck's Coin Hoard, Money Safe, Piggy Bank, whatever you want to call it. It's not. Okay, whatever. No, but it is a wonderful start to a seed, I think, especially Game 3. I mean, these guys are good. We know how good these guys are, but let's see how good these guys really are. I mean, that's just me. Maybe we get a World 8 with 3 bridges. Maybe we go 4. Chris Joy just popped in, so I mean, I'm not saying nothing, but maybe we get something fun here. Oh, magooisadorable slipped off the pipe. Somebody forgot to take the lid off. Leap to the past. Yes, we just started game 3. This is the third race of a possible 3. We're getting our money's worth. The admission price is worth it, except I have World 2 invalid seat so far, so I apologize for that. World 3 Fortress 2, which is supposed to be in World 8, has not been in World 8 the last 2 times, so I do apologize. But yes, we are in game 3. We have our runners having just a little bit of a problem with 7F1. The pipe has moved on them. And this is very indicative of our runners getting tired. I know prieR57, I believe, is from Europe, and it obviously is getting late there for him. And magooisadorable, I mean, both these guys have gone through a grueling almost 2 hours of racing at this point. The last race took over 45 minutes. I think the first one, Magoo checked in at 46 minutes, I believe, was the win. All right, the Calamity Storm has been brought into SMB3 from Chris to Joy. We got to see this, like, we got to see this happen. So we need some more Calamity. Yes, this is a 3 race in 1 day. We have been here for the last hour and 42 minutes racing this, and we're not done until we get to crown somebody a champion here. The winner, of course, going on to play the one and the only Craig SMB3. So a lot of really good racing here so far. prieR57 is ranked 5th, magooisadorable ranked 12th, and Craig SMB3 ranked 4th. So obviously not a chance in the world that we're going to discredit any of these runners. They are all very fantastic runners doing incredible things. I mean, these guys are in it to win it. Don't let anything about this fool you. These guys are raring to go. So prieR57 now on to the fight with Boom Boom here in just 1 moment at the end of 7F2. magooisadorable taking just a little bit of a detour to get a couple of Hammer Brothers out of the way. And magooisadorable now looking backwards. Doesn't find the free pipe he was hoping for. Our runners are getting tired for sure. This has been a lot of racing in 1 day. And it's not just about being fast. It's also about getting through each of these seeds that we throw at you. And that last one, I think between 2 of the worlds, took almost 20 minutes. Where World 7 and World 6 were both very disgusting. If we had an absolute tie, we would probably, I think we probably would have to have that actually classified. We're going to go back to the race time room. We're going to go back to basically just about anything that we can get. But we are going to try to prevent a World 4 if at all possible. If there is no clear winner, then yes, we will likely go back and have a tiebreaker. Most likely at a later date. I'm not sure either of these runners would care or want to go through another race at this point. But we will have to figure that out. So yes, game 3 will break the tie, but if they do tie like across the board with time, Chris DeJoy's right. It would be a frame count if we had to get to that. So I think I've heard one time a few years ago of a tiebreaker actually happening, but that is super rare. That would be extremely hard to classify as a tiebreak match for sure. So anyway, we'll see if it comes to that, but no, we are very likely going to count ourselves a victor here in just about 30 minutes or so. These races are normally somewhere between 35 to 40 minutes, sometimes longer if you get a growl seed. So I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I know the viewers want more SMB3 running, and we've got another race currently going on, but I just want to make sure you guys get your money's worth. That's all. prieR now out of World 1, coming into World 2 to join up with magooisadorable. World 2 is World 2, 5F2 to begin, and Magoo is Adorable at the end of the level. So prieR57 doing his best to get caught up here, and a Fire Flower will come out in the Castle of Fire. That seems to be very fitting. I approve. Now, World 2 has one fortress that we've seen so far, and we have absolutely no idea if there's going to be another one, because this is the tiebreaker format. You get no added bonuses, no end card games, no hammer breaking locks, mostly randomized. And I say that because there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 levels, potentially. And yeah, our runners are just not going to be able to tell. So the trick behind this, maybe I should explain that, because I know I've seen a few new faces here, and I'd love to have you guys here. Please ask questions. I will fill up a room with hot air if you let me, and they let me on comms, so obviously they let me. But if you have any questions, please get them in chat. I'm watching. I love interacting with chat. It makes my job a whole lot easier. But the reason that question marks is such a big deal here is because it will actually tell you how many fortresses are in that world. So if you can tell how many how many question marks, I'm sorry, how many 10 panels you have as you're kind of going back and forth, you can tell. So World 6 has one 10 panel because there's normally 6 10. Now, if it has 3 10 panels, that means there's only one fortress, because those other 2 10 panels would have been the other fortresses. So in all, the amount of fortresses you're normally going to have will equal the amount of 10 panels and fortresses you have together, or 10 extra 10 panels, I should say. So anyway, so that is how that all breaks down. So if you know how many fortresses are in the world to begin with, World 1 has 1, World 2 has 1, World 3 has 2, and so on and so forth. And if you know that, you can actually figure out how many fortresses are going to be in the world. Now, one of the really clever things about the randomizers is you will have the correct amount of forts in all. So World 1 has 1, World 2 has 1, World 3 has 2, and if you factored all of those up, you will still get that many fortresses in the different worlds across the randomizer. So World 7 may have 1 fortress, it may have 3. World 3 could have 1 fortress, it may have 3. But there is only going to be 1 world with 3 fortresses, because World 6 is the only one with 3 fortresses. And then you'll have a bunch with 2, because 3, 4, 5, and 7 all have 2 fortresses. And then you'll have 2 with 1 fortress. So that's how that breaks out. Then, of course, Bowser's Castle will always have 5 icons, and, of course, 4 fortresses, because 1 isn't actually a fortress. The first tank is a level. It does not have Boom Boom at the end. It has a Boomerang brother. And now our runners are very close to each other, as prieR is able to get an off-screen wand grab. And that is going to catch him up here in just a moment. So our runners are extremely tight at this point. Hammer comes out for Magoo, and not really going to matter a whole lot. Magoo finding World 1 Fortress, I am willing to bet he's going to beat this the old-fashioned way, because if he doesn't take out Boom Boom, he is going to have to play the level where World 1 Fortress normally is, and is going to have to go around and play an extra level. So prieR is opting to take the level, or the item here, which is an anchor, and that is in fact a random object, but he is going to have to go back around now and play the other fortress. I think realizing his mistake there, but not going to be punished too much, as we have the Ice Capades beta level. So prieR is going to be able to basically float through this stage. Unfortunately, he is going to be about a half level behind, as Magoo is Adorable is now into 6F1 and will be utilizing the... Oh, I apologize. He is not utilizing the button smash strat this time. He is going to go ahead and take the damage boost through that level of spikes, and is now on to the next room, where there are, in fact, 3 power-ups that will happen through here. And it looks like Magoo not going to opt for the Fire Flower, but he's got another chance at 1. So that's going to be another Fire Flower that he lost in the spikes, and is going to be able to get the fire kill out on Boom Boom. It looks like prieR is going to do the exact same. Not a whole lot separating our runners. From chat, we've got Link to the Past. There is no penalty if they get the 3 of the same symbols per se. So the only penalty is a delay in time. It's what we call a fanfare, and it will take a few moments for like fireworks kind of thing to go straight up and flash the symbol that they got. So if magooisadorable gets the fanfare here, it'll be a star that goes up, and there you go. That's exactly what we were explaining. So it takes a few seconds, but he will get a 5 up for the star, 3 up for the fire flower, 2 up for the mushroom, and then if you just get 3 symbols, you'll get a 1 up, so long as they don't match. Great question. prieR57 now into 5-5. Just trying his best to get through here without taking any damage from the fire chomps and without having any further issues with the donut bridge. magooisadorable having just a little bit of a problem with the Lakitu, and that's going to be the end of it. And Crystal Joy is absolutely correct. The fanfare does take a little bit of time, but it's a lot more time if you have to replay levels. The longer you stay in levels, sometimes the better, depending on obviously how much time you take in the level dictates that more than anything. But if you just don't take a loss of life like prieR there, he was able to keep himself a little bit safe and was able to get through that without having to play it again, and that of course is a lot faster. magooisadorable now onto the World 4 airship, a popular favorite for a lot of our runners because there's a very nice P-speed strat that you can use through this one. Not easy to do, but looks great when you can pull it off. So magooisadorable taking just a little bit of time. prieR57 having a bit of a problem with the Boomerang brothers in the coin ship. That, of course, will start it over. And it looks like our anchor is a star this time. Hitbox on the side of Magoo is going to mean he is no longer a Fire Flower Mario and is going to have to go into the next world with a regular Mario. So going to be interesting for sure. prieR is now with a P-Wing and is going to be dropping into the fight with Larry in just a moment. Thank you so much to the Shadow Man for throwing in the runners links there. If you like what you see today, do go and give our runners a follow. They're doing a lot of SMB3 running right now. I saw prieR was working with Tetris earlier. Do go give them a follow. It's a super easy thing to do, really super quick, and it means the world today. It really truly does. Having the followers really makes it a lot better. All that we do is just for fun. It's all volunteer. All of our guys do it just because they love the game. We do this because we love the game. And having a follow means a lot to the runners. Do go follow them. Consider doing that for them. And I'm sure they would appreciate it for sure. So a little bit of an item discrepancy for our runners. Just not a whole lot of items coming out. With this being a bracket stage, obviously there's no in-card games. The hammers are not as useful as they could be when they break locks. And you're going to have to be careful with your item management here. Clouds obviously are going to be a super powerful item. Hammers still have some usage, but not as much as if they could break locks. So still an item worth looking out for. Hammer suits for sure is going to be a requirement, or at least a very valuable item. If it comes down to a fight between the two runners in Bowser's Castle, then they are definitely going to have to make sure they're safe with a Hammer Brothers suit, and that could be the difference between our two runners. So now it looks like 7-6 coming out from magooisadorable. He's going to go ahead and jump on back and opt to take a mushroom this time. We've seen that a couple times. A little surprised he didn't take the P-Wing, as you can actually fly over 7-6 here. But magooisadorable, I'm sure, just looking for the clip, and he will get it. The clips have not evaded him too much today at all. And prieR is going to be taking on the Fire Brother and get a music box for his efforts. Looks like we are not going to get a divergence. Both ways would take only 2 levels to get through to the fortress. Now, I think this is the right path, though, because we've got 7-6, which can be clipped or flown over, and we've got the hand level stage of the Cheap Cheeps. I feel like we should have like the Flight of the Valkyrie playing right now through the Cheap stage. So as our runners are getting through the third of the hand traps, that is going to give them tail, a very vanilla item from the game. That is actually the prize you would get in the regular level. We are in World 4. We'll be hitting that halfway mark in just a moment, approaching the 20th minute of this run. Another long seed so far, and our runners are really just getting started. This is either runner's race. It took just a few more tries than Magoo did, but prieR now through his 7-6 without any further issues. Yes, there are quite a few wall glitches. The clip that you see there is hitting the bit and the pixel absolutely perfect, and will actually assume you're in the wall, but it doesn't know what to do with you, so it just sends you all the way through until you hit the other side. And that's actually a very common glitch for our runners to do in different places throughout the run. World 7-6, World 7-1, and some other places. And actually, there are some places where that'll happen, and it's not desired at all. You can actually do the wall clip through like World 2's Fortress. You'll pop up into a place where there's a small ledge and nothing else. You literally would have to start the level over. There's some other places where you can actually clip into the wall, and unfortunately you can't get back out. So soft locks do happen with this game, but sometimes we're able to use those glitches in our favor. There are also possibilities where that same idea is invoked and you're able to use that to jump even higher. So like for 6-5, if it comes up, I'll have to mention it because our runners may try to clip into the wall just long enough to use that to jump up. So you basically get a double jump out of it, and you're able to get over the level and go a lot quicker. So Bowser's Castle is another really good example. There's 3 big clips that people will use there, and a couple of them are in different places. So there's a lot of places where we're going to glitch the game. So a lot of things will happen here, and I'll try to call those out as I see them. And if not, I've got some extremely talented people in the commentary chat, who are able to keep me honest as well. So if you do have questions and I don't get to it immediately, some very outstanding people here who can definitely point you in the right direction as well. World 6 airship on the side for prieR57 is going to bring out the fight with Iggy in just a moment. magooisadorable with the Sun Highway stage and is being chased by a Cheap Cheep. Not exactly the right level for that, but I love it anyway because that's not one that you normally see, and that's quite all right. So World 2 Quicksand is now out of the way, 5-1 up for Magoo, and prieR is on his way through to World 5 as well to join up with Magoo in just moments. Magoo is now through 5-1 and will be looking towards this next pipe, as that first pipe did nothing for him. So there is an option to do a double hammer play here, which personally I think would be a huge step. If you had the 2 hammers, be a really good way to get through that first initial part. Then you could go straight to the fortress and start going from there. So there are going to be 2 fortresses. Like I said, prieR57 is going to go ahead and go with that double hammer strat and is going to get a star for that Boomerang brother. Looks like prieR57 is going to be joining Magoo here, and both runners now once again nearly in sync, all thanks to that double hammer play. It's not normally one that you see all the time, but 3-5 is going to be where our runners meet up, and both paddling like mad to not get hit by a bloober. So prieR is just a little bit further ahead here. Got to be careful of those Electros. They will take you out. They are not nice. Bertha is not going to chase you, but that bloober will, and you have got to be careful here. Magooisadorable takes the lead yet again and will be finishing the level first, but prieR is hot on his tail. This game is close. We'll see if Magooisadorable opts to take the fortress here. He is. We are going to see our first look at the fortress. That is the Navy, and I'm very curious to see if we have a divergence. prieR might be looking at a possible outcome here. He doesn't know which pipe takes him to Windy. So if that fortress is required, then obviously he has to go back and play it. If not, there's a fortress here, and both are pretty well protected by a lock. So prieR, with an unfortunate fight with a water-based fire brother, he's going to have to restart that. And, oh, okay. 3-8 comes out on the side. I'm sorry, 3-9 comes out on the side for prieR57. Magooisadorable just trying to figure out what he wants to do here at the moment. So very interesting. Okay, both our runners should know. So this is once again where the longevity of this race has come into play. We have been going for 2 hours straight, and these runners have taken maybe 3 minutes of breaks in all between the run and between the races. So the fact that the Navy broke the lock meant that that was not the correct fortress, and the fortress on the right, where our runners are going to have to play 3 more levels potentially, or 2 if they go up the top right side, like I think prieR is doing. So prieR is actually in the lead here now, because he's going to be able to play the pyramid level, take the pipe, and that's going to be the end of World 3. Actually, Matty Tone, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I just said a little bit ago, I gave him a shout out and said if there were no enemies, we would have no hero. So I'm a huge fan of Bowser. I'm more of a Bowser fan, I think, than I am a Mario fan. So like Bowser's Inside Story, great game. I'm just going to say. Anyway, we're here for SMB3, and SMB3 is in fact Mario. Even if he does change colors, which I think we have Magooisadorable is doing now. Yeah. So we've got a changing Mario color where anytime he takes damage or goes through a door, he's going to change colors. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of the enemy set. Dry Bones, I actually have a Dry Bones decal and a Golden Boo decal on my laptop. So I'm just saying, I'm a fan. So Magooisadorable now into the fight with Boom Boom on World 8 Fortress. prieR57 taking on Windy here, and prieR is now in front of Magooisadorable for probably the 80th time so far in these races. So both these guys just giving it their absolute all. The race has been grueling, and prieR57 had such a heads-up play there. Decided he wanted to play that top fortress, but actually didn't, and went the quickest way possible. So even caught on to something that I wasn't seeing, which is impressive. I mean, these guys have so much going on. I just have to talk about what's going on, which is easy because I get to see it and just talk about it. But prieR57 now into World 7, really fighting hard, and Magooisadorable is going to be catching up here in just a moment, as he does have a fight with Windy still to go. Now we've got Magoo and we've got prieR both going into World 7 here and just trying to figure this out. How's Magoo walking under the spikes as a big Mario? I believe it was a damage clip. So either he had a star, which makes you invisible for a little bit, or if you have a, like an iframe. If you have an iframe because of the damage boost, you can get through there pretty quickly as well. So those are normally the ways that you would do that, either the star or the iframe damage boost. And a lot of that is utilized. The damage boost is a very real strat. Our runners will use that quite a bit as they get through some of these levels, especially with like the thwomps. This is a classic example of where runners will take damage because those swamps do take time to get out of the way. So sometimes they'll just go all the way through them and not have to deal with the wasting the time, which takes up a lot of time. And after a while, it really starts to build up. Now we've got prieR57 just trying to find his way down to Australia. If you kind of think about this like a world map, that's how I like to think about it. Kind of reminds me of like the board game Risk. How you've got the different countries, the different continents. I know the difference. We got prieR57 who's just trying to figure out his way through and currently has not found the correct fortress. It looks like somebody forgot to bless the rains down in Africa, because we've got a fortress on the bottom right-hand side. The east coast of Africa needs to be taken down. magooisadorable finds the first fortress. He'll go through 6F2, and that is not the correct fortress to move on. But I do believe it's correct as far as the routing. So either you find that other pipe that takes it to the left of to the left side of Australia, or you're going to have to go back and find the other pipe and the other fortress to get down to Ludwig von Koopa's lair. So we'll be coming back to that in just a moment. prieR57 having a little bit of a memory issue here. There are a lot of enemies on screen, and this game can only handle so much. We are in like the 34th year, I guess, maybe, of this game being out, and it sometimes shows its age, but don't we all? So prieR57 is currently having just a little bit of a technical difficulty, as we're not only experiencing a memory spike, we've also got a lag spike, but that's okay. Back in the action here now, and magooisadorable still trying to figure out how to get to the top right corner of this map. Yes, absolutely. So like I said, really good helpers in chat. They keep me honest when I'm in the middle of something else. But prieR57 having a bit of a problem with these Toidles. They are not playing nicely with him today, and Boss Bass is not helping. I know that that's definitely a huge stressor in this level. Oh, and now it's a mimic block. Everybody's getting a piece of the action. prieR having some issues here, and magooisadorable has found that second pipe that takes you right to where that other lock is. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter though. So prieR57 is not going to take the coin heaven, which would provide a item there at the end. Very thankful for that mushroom. Now he's just got to contend with the Boss Bass, which is no longer going to be a factor. That is it for him. Very nicely done. You'll love to see it. The Tilton coming is very real, but he is able to break through it this time. And now get your salutes in chat for the Air Force. The one and only, the Monty Moles. If you can dodge a wrench, you might be able to dodge these guys, as you have to jump through, duck, dodge, dive, and weave, and something like that. It's been a while. So anyway, Air Force is now going down for prieR57. magooisadorable still trying to figure it out his way through the pipe maze, and is going to do so. Now he's down in Africa looking for the fight that we just saw from prieR57, and is going to have to be careful with this Boss Bass here in just a moment. So the 5-3 beta is coming down for Magoo, and prieR57 is going to be headed back to Australia this time, and is going to be fighting. Okay, I thought that was 7-8 first. It is not. A little bit of a sigh of relief, I'm sure. 7-8 is a lot more tricky, and sometimes they look very similar. But it is not 7-8. It is actually one of the World 4 levels here, and I do believe this is World 4-6, and which is characterized by the fact that even though it's not a giant level, those doors actually in the vanilla game will cause things to either go big or small. So that's where it fits into the whole giant scheme. And magooisadorable just doing his best to get through here without any further damage. And now the Piranha stage has come out for prieR, and he is taking a star to not have any further difficulties with it. A Jugum Cloud, a very welcome sight indeed, especially for one of those levels like, I don't know, an auto-scroller? We haven't seen those yet. So if there's a 5-9 or a Atlantis in the works. I'd sure like to see it. But, you know, that's just me. We'll see. I don't know. I might be the only one. But World 2's airship coming up now for the Maestro of Melodies, the Master of Mayhem, the one and only Conductor of Chaos, Ludwig von Koopa, who is currently putting on a pretty good show so far. I believe that's 3 hits. That's 4 hits. He's going for the whole Platinum album. That is going to do it, folks, for World 7. And World 7 in the randomizer coming up next. So we got World 7 in place of World 6. We don't know what's in World 7 yet. Actually, we do, but anyway. Yeah, auto-scroller. Who needs them? We've turned them off. Ain't nobody got time for that. Except for 2, 5-9 and Atlantis. Atlantis is one of the beta levels, and you cannot turn those off from what I've been told, because it will break the level. The way that the platforms and such rise and the enemies and things like that, you actually would break the level if we tried to turn off the auto-scrollers. So personally, I love it. I like the fact that there's still a little bit of chaos. And prieR with the double Jugum Cloud play, I love it. He's not going to have to come back down here. He's going to go ahead and go on up, fall down to the tower. He'll be there now. Everything he needs should be on the top. And there you go. World 5. Felt sorry for our runners for some reason. And it's going to be a pretty jet World 5, honestly. If you have 2 clouds like we just saw prieR, he's going to play 1 World 5 stage, which is actually very close to where it's supposed to be. World 5-9. No. I'm making things up again, guys. I apologize. 5-6. We just saw come down for prieR57, and now magooisadorable is going to be looking for a fight with the Piranha Plant, but has no stars, nothing to keep him out of harm's way, so he is going to have to play this the old-fashioned way, and I do appreciate it, Diesel. 5-6 indeed. I did get the 6 upside down. I've been on comms for a little bit, so I appreciate the patience and the consideration, so thank you so much for that. Now prieR57 burning through the airship here, and now the fight with Roy the Boy is coming down. Heavyweight champion is not going to put up too much of a fight. prieR is now on his way to World 8. 36 minutes in, another grueling seed, but these runners are digging deep and showing how bad they want this. Ludwig von Koopa on the side of magooisadorable. We'll see if fire wins out here or if it's going to be 4 hits. It is... Okay, one more shot. There we go. And prieR57 is now on his way to World 8. Get your guesses in. What do you think, chat? Bridges to Bowser, how many you got? I'm going to go with 3 again. We have had such a grueling, incredible race so far. The match has just been fantastic. It can't be 4, sorry. Go ahead and get your guesses in still. Just know it's not going to be 4. So Krista's going to guess -1 here. I'm going to guess 3 because I'd still like to personally see it. Finally, it took 3 races, but we got a valid seed after all of this. The reason for that, we joke about this being a valid seed, is because 3F2 normally isn't where you would expect to see it in like World 3. In in a normal place, it's normally in World 8. So we joke around that if 3F2 is not in World 8, it's no longer a valid seed. So there you go. Welcome to the Inside Joke. We love having you here. We love the inside jokes with all of our fans. But now we've got prieR. Whoa! It's a straight shot. prieR57 is going through World 2. This is going to be a super jet World 8. World 5 is going to be fast. Magoo needs to start using some clouds here. He is going to. prieR57 is going to be on his way into Bowser's Castle here in just a moment. And quite frankly, magooisadorable is going to have to start hoping that prieR57 makes a mistake here in just a moment. Neoashtaka, yes, the anchor, I believe, is a star. magooisadorable is into World 5, has a P-Wing, going to go after Roy here in just a moment. prieR57 taking on World 2's Fortress. That is going to do it. This is getting close to the wire. If prieR has any issues, then magooisadorable still has a chance, but Roy is now down for the count. The off-screen wand grab has been done. I think that's good enough. I think that's a good success A good, successful wand grab. prieR57 with the Fire Flower going after Bowser. If there are any issues here, this could take a little bit longer. The only problem, though, is it would have to be a likely loss at the end here. So either in the lava room here and restart, or like a laser kill, something like that. prieR is going to have to mess up pretty profusely here, because magooisadorable has to play this Air Force, which is, of course, 3 of 2, and then he's going to immediately go into the pipe, I would imagine, and then is going to be taking on Bowser in just a moment, because he does still have another cloud. Unfortunately for Magoo, though, the time has not yet run out. So Mushroom Mario is going to take a little bit longer, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He is going to have to take some more damage, and likely will actually have to restart World 8's Bowser Castle, unless he, unless he has a, I don't know. I don't see it happening. I think this is prieR's race at this point, but crazy things have happened. So 3 of 2 now, down for the count for Magoo. He's going to be into the fight with Bowser in just one. Whoa, never mind, just kidding. 5F1 now out for Magoo. Decided to see a fort, play a fort. Unfortunately, that is it for him for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the quarterfinals to take on Craig. SMB3 is going to be prieR57, who put on an outstanding set of races. Won the first, won the third, said I'm not done yet. Time of 40 minutes, 9 seconds is going to be your victor, prieR57. GG's all around for sure. What an incredible race. Yeah, all 3 of these races, in essence, were extremely close. That's going to be magooisadorable taking on a couple of different things. Here comes the Anchor Star. Here comes the P-Wing. Not a bad option here. Keeps you safe till the end. And Magoo is going to be fighting Bowser here in just a moment. prieR57 will be seeing if he will join us in for an interview for just a moment. I know both of our runners are going to be extremely exhausted after this race. But what an incredible match. Absolute honor to be here. And what a great run. I mean, honestly, for both of our runners, magooisadorable put up an outstanding fight all 3 races and did a very fantastic job of keeping it close the entire time. Absolutely outstanding. Look forward to seeing both of them for sure in our next tournament and our weekly races, wherever we can get them. We're gonna look forward to seeing them again for sure. magooisadorable, unfortunately not able to keep the tail all the way till the end, but not going to really help anything, as he is unfortunately not able to get a quicker shot out, as having a tail doesn't do any damage or anything. But anyway, so we are now joined in the commentary booth by our victor today. Congratulations on an outstanding job. Very well done.
Thanks.
So what are your thoughts? That was an incredibly grueling set of races. I mean, this one was 40 minutes. The last one was like 46. What do you think of that?
Second seed tilted me so hard, so I can't say anything about that. It was so horrible. Oh my god. I don't know how you can play well that one. First and third seed went pretty well. I think my last seed was the better one, but yes, that was very hard.
Yeah, fair enough. It was a couple of very crazy ones for sure. I mean, World 6 was extremely long on that second seed, despite only being one fortress. World 7 had 3 fortresses, and I think all 3 were required.
Yes, I think too.
Absolutely crazy. And we are now joined also by magooisadorable. GG's on a very good job.
GG.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but feel like if I didn't play 3F2 there at the end, it would have been really close. I mean, you see a fort in World 8, you play it, right? But,
Yeah, it would have been extremely close. Neither of you had a hammer brother at the end. And actually, and I apologize, how do you pronounce your name? Is it prieR?
Yes, whatever is all right.
Okay, I was doing my best. I think I went to prieR a couple times, so I apologize if you hear that on the VOD. But no, it was extremely close. Neither of you were able to get a hammer suit at the end, and that extra fort didn't exactly work in your favor, Magoo, but it was extremely close.
Yeah, I had to swap controller after first race because my my down direction on the D-pad was malfunctioning, so thankfully I won that one, even if I had some issues, but yeah, all the seeds, especially the second one, was so horrible. I have no words about it. I have no words.
yeah, I was kind of wondering what must have happened to you in 1, because, like, the first seed, because, like, I had a game over, and I made the worst routing decision ever, but I was still a room from Bowser when you finish, and I was like, well, he must have had a terrible time, too. So...
Can't get into pipes. I had so much trouble on the overworld, so yeah, I had some issues.
I think there might have also been a little bit of confusion. In the first race, hammers did break locks. So on World 5, we were watching and expecting for a Jet World 5 because we expected you to go directly to the left, break that lock, and be at the castle. So I think there might have been just a little confusion about that, but you guys both put on outstanding performances all 3 races. They were all very close.
Yeah, with that one in World 5, I had used all my hammers in the previous level to skip one stage, and then I ended up having to play 3 stages in a fort instead. So, felt real dumb when that happened. Yeah.
Fortunately, you were able to get another hammer from the Hammer Brother, but yeah, that World 2 was pretty rough on you.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know, I got that other hammer, and then I was like, oh yeah, let's do the double hammer play now. It's getting late in the game, but it was just not the place to do it, and to skip one stage. I don't even know what the stage was. It was probably something easy. But, oh well.
I'm sure you guys are both extremely tired after that almost 2.5 hours of racing, but any final thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, just, I don't know, congratulations to prieR. Yeah, like, this tournament is super fun. I love it. Sad to be out now, but I'm doing comms, so I'll be back on that tonight. And yeah, thanks to everybody that puts this together. Thanks to SpeedGaming especially, who makes this all happen. I think we all saw last weekend what happens when they're not around and how much we should really appreciate them. But yeah, that's it for me.
Very well said, for sure. And absolutely. I mean, we were out for a couple of our races, and SpeedGaming just does so much. So huge shout out to them for sure. And Magoo, we hope we don't see the last of you. You were a joy to have around. We cannot wait to see you in the next one too.
I mean, this was my 4th one, so if I was gonna quit, I would have quit by now probably. But I'll be back. I'll be back for the next one.
For sure. Anything else from you, prieR?
Yes, I'm joining Magoo to say thanks to all the people involved in the tournament. Thanks SpeedGaming for hosting us, and yeah, GG again, and I'll do my best on the next round. And my last words: this game is hard.
Yeah. Very true.
I think anybody that's ever played this game will agree with you, and anybody that's played with Randomizer will definitely agree with you. All right, well, I do believe that's going to be all the time that we have for today. I'm going to let the runners go so they can get some much-needed rest after that. But fans, do not go too far because we have Hayfield Bay versus Jay Coper over on SpeedGaming 5 right now. At 9 p.m. tonight, we have Homer J Smash versus Ryko Rider. That's Eastern time. Make sure you're there for that. SpeedGaming 3, we've got Frantic 32, and the one and only magooisadorable will be on comms over there. Great guy. I've heard he's a great runner, so you want to go check that out as well. And then we've got also at 8 p.m. Eastern, Mr. prieR57 taking on your Obsoles, and that's going to be Macobra52 and Sinister Sama on comms over on SpeedGaming. So do check them out. Plenty of SMB3 to go around tonight. And with that, it is going to do it for us tonight. So we want to say thank you once again to SpeedGaming, Diesel Pilot, for all the things that you guys do, for chat, being here with us, helping me out with the commentary. You guys are wonderful, answering questions and such. And quite honestly, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much for spending a little portion of your time with us here today. We really appreciate it. From all of us here at the SMB3 Randomizer community, on behalf of magooisadorable, prieR57, this is Growlwolf signing off for now, saying thank you, keep randomizing, keep racing, take care.